Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And we see them, and today we got a hilarious show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, we're back at it. It's that point in the season again, where the Lakers are losing some games, and all of a sudden now we need to figure out whose fault it is. Right? We're right back where we always are. Well, with this team. And it's no different this time. As you guys know, the Lakers lost to the Orlando Magic yesterday in Orlando by double digits. They couldn't guard a parked car. Right? Those guys are just essentially going off, and they had another big game. So this is the second time in a row that the Orlando Magic have beaten the Lakers. So now they've lost 3 games in a row. Luckily for them, they're still tied in losses for the third and fourth spot. With the Denver Nuggets. But they do have a pretty tough stretch coming up next. They're going to be playing the Indiana Pacers, then the Chicago Bulls, then the Golden State Warriors. And then I think they play the Pelicans after that. Then I think they play the Houston Rockets. Then they play the Oklahoma City Thunder back-to-back. And then I think they play the Rockets again. And I forgot the other team that they're playing. So they have some pretty stout competition coming down the turnpike. So anyway, so that occurs. So they then produce a show on ESPN segment featuring Carlos Boozer, Shannon Sharpe, who's always twerking for LeBron, Stephen A. Smith, and Molly Karam. And they're talking about what took place. And, you know, Shannon Sharpe has had this thing about Lakers in 5, Popeyes, chicken fries, whatever, Lakers in 5, right? Which is hilarious. So what then occurs? Yeah, so that happens. And they're talking about the issues with the Lakers. And then they start talking about the defense. And as Shannon Sharpe is talking about the defense, Stephen A. Smith essentially cuts him off and says, wait a minute. Are you saying that LeBron James isn't playing any defense? And then Shannon Sharpe is like, oh, no, LeBron plays defense and blah, blah, blah. And it kind of created this interesting back and forth that we want to touch on. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because I have a larger point that I want to get to. So what we want to do is we want to play what these guys said here. Then we're going to come back and really get into the meat and potatoes of today's show. Take a listen to what these guys had to say here.
So I still got the Lakers as the second best team in the West when the dust settles. That's how I feel about them. As long as they don't have to face OKC, I would pick them against anybody in the West. I think they get slaughtered in the finals by the Boston Celtics. I think they get slaughtered. And I think they lose to OKC. But I got them being better than anybody else in the Western Conference. See, I'm going to say that. Shannon, Lakers are 5. He don't mean it, y'all.
Let's hear what the former NBA player has to say about it. Carlos, where are you on this?
They've been great. When they had that stretch of winning 8 in a row, their defense was number 1 in the league. They were rebounding the basketball. They were getting down passing lanes. Their defense was creating offense, which we like to see. They got 2 of the best guys on the planet with the ball in their hand. Luke and LeBron make great decisions. They score for themselves. They score for their teammates to get everybody open. These last couple games, to Shannon's point, they gave up 70 points in the paint to the Chicago Bulls, who are fighting for the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference. Let's call it what it is. Paolo and Franz Wagner are ballers in Orlando. There was a stretch in that third quarter where it was 41-15 in Orlando Magic's favor. They took control of that basketball game going into the fourth quarter. They got to get their defense together. I know Rui Hachimura is back, which is a great sign. He's got to get back to playing the way he was playing before he got hurt. LeBron's back now. I know you want to go into the playoffs as healthy as possible, but you also want to go into the playoffs like 3rd, 4th, 5th seed. You don't want to drop all the way down to the 6th, 7th seed, right? You got 10 games left. You want to go into the playoffs feeling well, so JJ has a good feeling for his team in the playoffs.
Well, the problem that's happening, guys, is that if you look at the third quarter, when their offense start to struggle, they just start playing defense. They're looking at the official. I got fouled. They got complained, and guys are getting out in transition and laying the ball up. Guys are getting uncontested shots. So what's happening is they're allowing their offense to impact their defense, and you can't have that. Just defend. Stephen, you mentioned like LeBron and Luka, they've shot 50%. Hell, but they're letting the other team shoot 60%. That's why you getting blown out by the number you blown out. Yeah, you can shoot 50%, and that's really good. But if you let...
Whoa. I want to make sure I caught something that my ears heard correctly. Are you saying that LeBron hasn't been playing defense?
No, LeBron, listen, we know this. I've seen LeBron before have this injury. It takes him like 4 or 5 games because the last thing you want to do, Boo, you know you probably had this growing injury, is that anything sudden, that's what happens with growing. So it's going to take him a while to get like, you know what, I'm 100%. Because in that footage that we showed, did you see how he was scrambling? when they knocked the ball out of Aaron Gordon on that dunk? Did you see how he was all over the court? Only water covers more of the earth than LeBron James in his prime. You know, he had 1/4 and the water covered 3/4. That was the only thing that covered more of the earth than GOAT James. Don't do that, Stephen A. He'll be just fine. You watch us. Don't matter.
So you heard what those guys had to say there. I have a lot of thoughts about this. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the makeup of these players. In specific, let's speak about Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves. We have known historically that Luka is not a good defender. Okay, we know this. We knew this before he even became a Laker. One of the reasons why the Dallas Mavericks surrounded him by people that can defend, like Dorian Finney-Smith, P.J. Washington, some other players that I can't think of right now. So they had players on the roster that could defend at a high level. Some bigs out there that could cover up for some of his deficiencies. So then what happens? You bring Luka on the team. You replace him for a defensive stalwart in Anthony Davis. So you bring Luka on the team. He's then playing with Austin Reeves, who's also not known for being a defender and is also he's not like a huge guard, right? But he's not known for being a defender, more of a playmaker, scorer, etc. Then you have, LeBron James. Now, LeBron James hasn't played any defense in years. Not months, in years. LeBron plays defense in spots. If he can notice that a highlight dunk is about to take place and he can block it, he'll play defense there. He'll play defense for a play or two. Usually what happens, and LeBron and Luka have this same thing in common. They'll play fake defense, right? They usually can never play man-to-man defense. And shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants. He broke this down. I mean, this is something we knew, but he broke it down and he brought it to my recollection. Essentially, what he was saying is that LeBron is always playing. It always looks like he's in the zone, while everybody else is man-to-man, right? And what does that mean, right? Zone, you're always helping. You're always helping. You're not really sticking to a particular player. You're more focused on the drive. You're moving to where the ball is moving. But when you're playing man-to-man and you're playing like a zone, you're just out there looking like a free safety. You're not guarding your man. And what happens? Usually you end up getting back cuts and all of that. So what usually happens is Luke and LeBron play similar defense. Defenders are always back cutting them, breaking them down. They rarely make multiple efforts defensively. So when they get broken down, the player scores, and instead of them getting back on defense, what do they normally do? They start complaining to the refs. The two of them have this in common. The two of them. Now, Shannon is talking about LeBron has covered the earth with defense and all of this nonsense. LeBron has played in the NBA for 22 years. Okay? Going on 22 years. In those 22 years, do you know how many all-defensive teams LeBron has made? 6. In 22 years, LeBron has made 6. That's about 25, basically about 75% of the time LeBron has been a basketball player, he has not been an all-NBA defender, caliber defender, for about 75% of his career. So people are talking like this has been a great defender all this time, when in reality he hasn't. And he never was. He played defense for some years. But to say like, oh, LeBron, when? What are you talking about? The dude has made 6 all defensive teams. 6 all defensive teams. So LeBron has never been known for defense, although they market him like, oh, you could play 5. Really? LeBron can guard 1 to 5. You gonna put LeBron James on a prime Chris Paul in the series? Are you going to do that? You going to put LeBron James on Tim Duncan? You going to put LeBron James on Hakeem Olajuwon? You would put LeBron on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You would put LeBron James on Shaq? Like, what are we talking about? This is just a bunch of nonsense, as they usually spew. Oh, you mean you can guard all the... Really? You would put LeBron in a series on Shaq or Hakeem? Of course you wouldn't. But it feels good to say it. It feels good. These dudes be playing with themselves when they be saying it. Feels good to them. So this thing of them, oh, they don't play. That's the team they built. The fact is they traded offense and playmaking for defense and offense in Anthony Davis. This is what you got. You got one guy that doesn't play defense. You got another guy that has never played defense. Enjoy.